In 2023 alone, just under 1,300 tattoo shops closed for good. Whether it was business side or the marketing side that were failing them. But there's one thing for sure, after this video, you will never have to stop or end your career because your tattoos are bad. Because I've ran multiple successful studios, I've gone from tattooing in my shed to having people fly from around the world just for my work. And to top it off, I've taught over 100,000 people worldwide how to tattoo or improve their current level. And now I've compiled together an 8-stage checklist to unfuck your tattoos. Number 1, ditch, just completely get rid of over-complicated designs. We never need to overcomplicate things, whether you're just starting out, you've just finished learning and just moving on to real skin, or if you've been in the game 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, and you're almost close to death. We don't need to overcomplicate things. We just need the work to be at the highest of level, whether it's complicated or not. For some reason, and I don't know why, people think for me to be recognized as a good tattoo artist, I've got to complicate the fuck out of everything. You don't. Bring it back a little bit and focus on quality rather than the complexity. Point 2, contrast. I've got a full video just dedicated to this one topic. It is that important. But we need to understand to increase contrast whenever we possibly can. Not to make the design look really fancy on the day, but it's going to increase the chances of the longevity of the tattoo. It's going to look good in 5 years, 10 years. If everything's the same sort of tonal value and the contrast is not there, in a matter of fucking no time at all, it's going to smudge into a blob. Number 3, listen, we need to fucking stretch the skin, don't we? Depending on the methods that you're using and the outcome that you're wanting, sometimes, yeah, we don't have to stretch the skin too much if we're wanting a really soft, delicate shade. But whenever we're lining or packing stuff, we need the stretch to be consistent. We don't want the skin to be bouncing about. Listen, we're not fucking robots, are we? The skin moves, and it moves in an uncontrollable way unless you've got a consistent stretch which maintains that stretch on the skin. All right, so the needle is penetrating, the skin's moving the same amount or as close to the same amount as possible every single time. The needle's going to the same depth. So we've got a nice, solid, consistent line if we're doing lines. The color packing is nice and consistent. A lot of the times when we see inconsistent line work or colours that are tribal, for example, or blackout, when once it heals, you get in the patchiness. A lot of that is because the stretch and the needle depth has been the issue. So really focus on stretching. Listen, if you're early on in your career, and all you guys that have been tattooing years will back this up, please add it into comments if you can remember it. Your stretching hand should be fucking killing by end of day, whether you've been practicing or you had a full day tattooing. Your stretching hand for them first 6 months, year, should be in agony because your muscles, the hands are just not used to doing that until you've been doing it for a long duration of time. Step 4, specialise in a niche and master it. Listen, I'm not going to go into loads of depth on this one. I've got tons of videos on this one topic alone on the channel. Make sure you go check them out. But you have got to be focusing on one area of the tattoo industry. Your niche, old school, black and grey realism, whatever you choose to do, but make it known that is where you specialise. Tip 5, estimating time. Listen, I was worst person. I got this wrong so many times at the beginning. Yeah, I'll have that done in an hour. Fucking 5 hours later, I was still doing it. And it's so easy to mess up at the beginning. The customers would be looking at me, or I'd be assuming they're thinking, I thought he said this would be an hour. We're 4 hours in. And then it starts, self-doubt creeps in. You think that customers thinking, God, does this person know what they're doing? It causes masses of problems. Never make yourself rush or put yourself in that position. Always overestimate how long you think it's going to take, because at the beginning, what you think is going to take an hour will take 2 hours, 3 hours. Always underestimate time. Tip 6, make sure that you're positioned right and comfortable. It sounds super simple, doesn't it? But so many people, the back is really, really arched. The entire focus is on, well, I want the customer to be comfy. Listen, customer's there once for 4 or 5 hours, however long the tattoo is. You're doing it all day, every day. Your comfort is more than or equal to the customer's comfort. And I'll tell you something, and this is true, and I really do think that how I tattooed and the positions that we're in were a big cause of this. The amount of artists, when I was tattooing full time, literally 7 days a week, sometimes till 1 in the morning, I'd do 3 sittings in a day, but I would tattoo morning until night, 6 to 7 days a week. Every other artist that I spoke to just did 1 sitting, 5 days a week. And they all used to make the comment, you're gonna burn yourself out, I don't know how you do it, your back will be fucked. Guess what? Over 10 years later, my back's all right. right. And I never burnt myself out. And a lot of that is because I were always just making sure I was comfortable. It's not always just about the customer. I was bothered about me as well. Because if I'm fucked, I can't work. So that is massively important. Make sure you're in a comfortable position. Number 7. Don't overwork the skin, especially early on in your career. If you can see that the surface of the skin is starting to look pitted, starting to look really red in that area, starting to swell up, fucking hell, common sense. Just leave it. Let it settle down. If it does settle down, then you can go back to it and gently try and fix whatever you needed to do. But don't just stay in that one area working it. If the ink's not going in, just leave it, come back to it. The worst case scenario is you'll have to fix it when they come in for the next appointment. Or tell them, look, your skin's reacting. I don't want to overwork the skin and cause scarring or potentially just ruin the tattoo. I'm going to get you to come back in a few weeks once it's all settled down, healed, and I'll just fix that little area. Obviously free of charge. Not a problem. The moment you start overworking it, they're in pain. Fucking real amounts of pain. And you're just going to ruin tattoo. Ruin your career. Ruin your reputation for that one little stupid mistake. And finally, last point, number 8, use fake skin to practice on. Go back to the fundamentals at every opportunity that you get. If you're wanting to learn a new skill, a new technique, you see somebody using a particular needle and you think, oh, I want to create that same effect. Don't use people or your next tattoo booking as the guinea pigs to test something. Now, I did that for years, and now that I've been teaching people from around the world, God, I would approach things totally different. Now, whenever I get a new idea or I see somebody doing something a certain way that I think, fucking hell, yeah, that's really good, I'm going to give that a go. I don't book somebody in and think I'll give it a go on them. It's their tattoo that's on them for life. If it's fucked or it don't work, yeah, it's on them. I just get some artificial mats out that are purposely built and designed for that exact thing, to practice, to learn, to go back to the basics and think, right, I've got a few spare hours today. I'm going to really focus on improving my line work. I'm going to get a round shader and see how good my shading is. I'm going to get a mag and try and really soften my grey wash. We should be always trying to improve. Practice mats, fake skin, whatever you want to call it, is not just aimed at people learning how to tattoo from scratch. Don't matter whether you've been tattooing 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, we can always improve. I look at my work and I need to improve my line work. My shading could be loads better. In fact, every aspect of the tattoo game, for me, I know I could be better at. So I'm going to practice it on mats. Don't have an ego that's stopping you, preventing you from getting better. Get on the mats at every opportunity that you get and try and further develop your skills. If you're struggling with fundamentals, listen, whether you're just getting into tattooing or we've got people on course that's been in game for years, don't matter what level you're at or where you're at or how long you've been doing it, go check out in the description. There's a link to fundamentals course. It's $27. It's 39 lessons. It's fucking jam-packed of information. It'll take you from never holding the machine to doing some pretty cool designs, to be fair. So I'll see you in there. Don't forget, we've got loads of stuff on the channel. Make sure you go check it out. As always, give it a thumbs up and I'm going to give you mine. If you've been on channel a few times, you know what's coming. I'll see you in the next one.